Hi guys, it's Hani here, and today I'm going to show you another Christmas cookie decorating idea. We're going to use cupcake cookie cutter to make Santa cookies and also Christmas tree cookies. Let's get started. I'm using edible marker here, drawing the guideline for the face, and you can see I turned my cupcake shape upside down so the swirl part is facing me. Now to make the face I used ivory food coloring to color my royal icing, and I also added a touch of pink to it. This is about 20-second consistency, and I'm going to use wet on wet royal icing technique to make the eyes and the cheeks. So I'm piping black dots onto the icing and you can see it sinking in, and then to make the reflection I'm just adding tiny little white dot onto the black. To make the cheeks, pipe 2 dots on each side and then run a scribe through the middle of the dot, creating cute little hearts. To make the mouth, I'm actually going to pipe that underneath here, and then we'll pipe the mustache above it. To make the head, I'm using 2 shades of red. This is the lighter shade, and then I'm also going to use darker shade red. To make my red royal icing, I use the super red food coloring from Emery Color brand, and then to make the darker shade I just add a touch of brown to it. You don't want to add too much, just a little bit to make it a bit darker. And while this is still wet, I'm also going to add some wet on wet decoration on here. So I'll pipe a white dot on the side here, and then with a scribe shape it into a star. Make sure that you wipe the tip of the scribe every time you run it into the red icing. Let it crust, and then we can work on the beard. To make the beard I am using 15-second consistency royal icing, and for those of you folks who are not familiar with the consistencies, be sure to check my detailed tutorial here on my YouTube channel or also on my blog hanilas.com. It covers all the things about how to thin royal icing and how to use different consistencies in cookie decorating, and link is in the description box under the video. Now use a scribe to distribute the icing while it's still wet, and I'm going to also do some shading on the side here. I'm using gray royal icing. This is also about 15-second consistency, and this is going to give it a bit more dimension. Now we're going to add a flap at the very top. I'm using light red and also that deeper red, and then we are going to let it crust, and then we can work on the brim. And to make the brim I'm going to use stiff royal icing, and this is a star tip number 16, just going back and forth, and we're also going to add some sanding sugar on the top. Now make the ball with the same tip, and I'm going to swap out my piping tip for a larger tip. This is a number 21 star tip, and we're going to use it to make the mustache. So pipe the mustache just about the mouth. You want to make sure that your icing is stiff, otherwise it will lose its shape. Now to make the nose I am using jelly beans. These are really fun to use and super easy. How cute. And that's how you can make Santa cookies using a cupcake cookie cutter. Now to make the trees, I'm going to start with the bottom, the liner section, and I'm using light brown royal icing, and this is about 15-second consistency. After we're done icing this section, I'm going to let it crust for about 10-15 minutes, and then we can decorate the swirl portion of the cupcake. And I'm just going to use white royal icing, 15-second consistency here. To make royal icing I like to use meringue powder, and you can find a full recipe for royal icing that I like to use on my blog. Actually I have several recipes, including recipe with fresh egg whites. If you can source out meringue powder, you can also use fresh egg whites, or also pasteurized egg whites. You can use those, and all of those recipes are listed on my blog. Now we're going to let that crust, and then we can decorate the bottom part. This is going to be the pot, and I'm again using my brown royal icing, and then we're going to decorate the bottom. I decided to do something I haven't done before. I love baker's twine, so I wanted to replicate that look on this cookie. So I'm going to pipe straight lines across. Some of them are going to overlap, and we're going to let those dry, and then we'll paint them or draw on them with red edible marker to create the look of baker's twine. Alright, so now we are actually ready to start working on the tree. So to make the trunk and the branches, I am using brown royal icing, and this is about 20-second consistency here. 20 to 25 should be fine. And I'm starting in the middle and then making more branches on the side. We're going to, guys, create lots of pine needles. And I'm going to use piping consistency royal icing to make the needles. Now, I would recommend that you start piping needles from the branches out so you can taper them. And to color your royal icing, to create this particular color, I just used leaf green food coloring, and I actually added just a touch of black to it, not a whole lot, just to mute it down. But if you'd like to, you can also use bright green like leaf green, or even leaf green with a little bit of yellow in it. Or you could use moss green or forest green. There are so many different green food coloring options out there. So do what you want to do. You don't have to do the same color as I'm doing. Now I'm going to layer these needles. You don't have to layer them, but I think it creates just a fuller look. So to layer them, you have to do that again. So that's lots of pine needles. But look how pretty it looks. I have one more branch to do, and then we are done with the needles. Now this is how you can create that baker's twine look. I'm using red edible marker, just drawing short lines across. You don't want these to be straight. Try to do them on an angle if possible. And I'm also going to add a bow in the center here. And I'm doing 2 loops, and I'm going to let that dry again. Now this is not going to take too long to dry, maybe 30 minutes or so, and then we can draw the lines again. Add a cute little star sprinkle at the very top, and then add some Christmas ornaments. I'm using red royal icing, about 25-second consistency here. Smooth it with a scribe. To make it shimmer, I am using, this is actually jewel dust, red jewel dust. You can also use white jewel dust if you don't have red. Now I'm going to finish this portion here with edible marker. And that's how you can make Christmas tree cookies using a cupcake cookie cutter. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. I also wanted to wish you all Merry Christmas, and I will see you in 2022